students of the day. Hopefully you are all safe and following the precautions. Today I am going to explain about nasolacrimal duct. So let me explain it. The purpose of nasolacrimal duct is to drain tear from the ocular surface to the lacrimal sac and ultimately the nasal cavity. Blockage of nasolacrimal system can cause tears to flow over the eyelid and down the cheeks. This condition is epiphora. Structure and function. Both the upper and lower eyelid have a small opening on the surface of lid margin near the medial canthus. These are called puncta. Each puncta leads to a drainage canal that eventually flows into the lacrimal sac and then the nasal cavity. The drainage canal connecting the ocular surface to nasal cavity consists of multiple parts. Within the lower eyelid, the puncta leads to 2 mm long ampulla which runs perpendicular to the lid margin. The ampulla turns 90 degrees medially, becoming the inferior canaliculus, and travels 8 to 10 mm before reaching the common canaliculus. The upper canaliculus travels 2 mm superiorly in the eyelid before turning the 90 degrees medially and moving 10 to 8 mm before connecting the common canaliculus. The common canaliculus drains into the lacrimal sac. Within junction between the common canaliculus and the lacrimal sac is the valve of Rosenmuller. This apparatus is a one-way valve that prevents reflux from the lacrimal sac to the puncta. The lacrimal sac drains inferiorly to the nasolacrimal duct, which is bordered medially by the palatine bone and the inferior turbinate in the nose, and laterally by the medial maxillary bone. The nasolacrimal duct opens at the inferior mucus located underneath the inferior nasal turbinate. The lacrimal sac is approximately 10 to 15 mm in the axial length and 13 to 20 mm in corneal length, and the nasolacrimal duct is 12 to 18 mm long. The inferior nasal mucus is partially covered by a mucosal fold known as the valve of Hassner. Blood supply and lymphatic drainage. Blood supply to the nasolacrimal area of the face is generally from angular artery. The angular artery is considered a branch of facial artery. However, some studies have shown that it can originate from ophthalmic artery in some individuals. It terminates in the anastomosis with the dorsal nasal branch of the ophthalmic artery. The angular artery and vein appear alongside the nose near the medial orbit. A correlating angular artery drains this region. The medial and lateral portions of the eyelid have different lymphatic drainage systems. The medial 1/3 of the upper eyelid and the medial 2/3 of the lower eyelid drain to submandibular lymph nodes. The lateral 2/3 of the upper eyelid and the lateral 1/3 of the lower eyelid drains to the preauricular lymph nodes. Nerves. The cranial nerve 7 supplies the motor innervation to the muscle of face. The movement of this muscle aids in proper drainage of tears through nasolacrimal system by what is known as lacrimal pump mechanism. Cranial nerve 3 and cranial nerve 7 innervates the muscle that control the blinking of the eyelids. This action is the primary driver of lacrimal pump mechanism. Irritation of the ocular surface stimulates the ophthalmic branch of cranial nerve 5, which begins the reflex tear arc pathway. The efferent pathway involves cranial nerve 7 and parasympathetic fiber. The role of sympathetic nervous system in the tear production is not well understood. Muscles. The action of orbicularis muscle and surrounding tissues helps propel the flow of tear from canaliculi to the nasolacrimal duct via lacrimal pump mechanism. This is future optometrist Eqra Fatima from Central Institute of Medical Science and Technology, proud to be a part of this optometry fraternity as well as a proud and dedicated member of optography. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon of this educational channel. If you have any queries, please feel free to share in the comment section. Thank you.